Godfrey of Bouillon knew retaking the Holy Land would be tough, but the odds of a win seemed impossible. His army lacked clean water and the wood needed to build the siege equipment. How was he going to overcome a huge army and scale the 15-foot-high wall that surrounded Jerusalem? What he chose to do next would earn him the reputation of the greatest Christian knight of all time. Godfrey's story began in 1095 as disturbing news spread throughout Europe. The Pope had learned that large portions of the Holy Land had been taken by Muslim forces. After hearing this news, Godfrey sold everything he had and used the money to raise an army. In 1096, he headed off to the Crusades, determined to fight for his faith. However, retaking Jerusalem would be an almost impossible challenge. The Egyptian Fatimids controlled the city. After arriving, Godfrey realized that the Crusaders were outnumbered. Worse, the Fatimids knew they were coming and had prepared their defenses. Any Christians in Jerusalem had been expelled. The wells around the city had been poisoned. To make things harder, the city was guarded by a wall that was 3 meters thick and 15 meters high. But that wasn't all. The strategic Fatimids had also cut down all the trees around Jerusalem. This left the Crusaders without the wood needed to build siege equipment. The bad news didn't stop there. Word had reached the Christian forces that a Fatimid army was heading their way. If they couldn't take Jerusalem quickly, they would be forced to declare defeat and retreat. But the Crusaders refused to back down. Italian sailors agreed to destroy their ships to get the Christians the timber they needed. The next 3 weeks were a flurry of activity as the Christians raced to build the siege towers, scaling ladders and battering rams needed for the upcoming battle. Finally, the Christian army was ready to take Jerusalem. They split into 2 groups, attacking from the north and south. The next 3 days of fighting were brutal. The Crusaders fought the relentless rain of arrows from the top of the Jerusalem walls, steadily breaching Fatimid defenses. On the 15th of July, 1099, Godfrey was one of the first people to scale the ladders and breach the city. This signaled an end to the bloody battle. With Jerusalem back under Christian control, they had to decide who would lead the new government. The leaders wanted to appoint Godfrey as king, but the knight refused this title. Godfrey is quoted as saying he didn't need a crown of gold when Jesus had a crown of thorns. Instead, he would become protector of the Holy Sepulchre. Using his power and military might, Godfrey would protect Jerusalem from attack until he died in 1100.